Well, good morning guys. We'll continue now with our microwave technique subject. Okay. So in the previous class what we discussed, we have completed about the basics of the microwave techniques, microwave communications, regarding history of microwave communications, regarding the advantages, disadvantages, applications, and finally we have discussed about what do you mean by an EM wave and what is what is a waveguide and what are the properties or features of a waveguide. Now today's class we will try to derive the EM wave equation. So in the last class I have already discussed about the EM wave equations, where I can write EM wave equation as del square A is equal to mu epsilon dou square E by dou t square. That is the equation which we have shown in the previous class. Now we will try to derive that equation, which is the electromagnetic wave equation for us. Now what is the prerequisite to derive the electromagnetic wave equation? The prerequisite, as I said, is the Maxwell's equations. So without Maxwell's equations we really cannot solve any microwave propagation equations. So why Maxwell's is so popular? Because as I tell you already, Maxwell's, if you solve any Maxwell's equation directly, we are going to get a physically realizable system. That means whatever equation that we will be getting a physically realizable system, where you need not really bother about what should be the properties of a physical system based on this particular equation. We need not see all those things at the time of design of a physical system. Once we derive the equations, we will be getting into the actual equation. Now here the beauty of this electromagnetic wave equations is that you can straight away write similarly the magnetic field from the electric field equation and electric field from the magnetic field equations. That is what the duality principle. The electric and magnetic fields are going to follow the principle of duality. Okay, what is duality? If you replace an equation by a variable, then the meaning of the equation is normally going to change with respect to the concerned field. So that means if you derive an equation for electric field, you can directly get the equation for the magnetic field as well. Okay, we will just see the same thing now here in this particular session. Now to start with Maxwell's equations, we start with straight away with the Maxwell's equations. Now whatever the derivations for the Maxwell's equations you have seen in the EMTL subject, and the physical interpretation of all these Maxwell's equations we have seen in the antennas and wave propagation. Now in today's class we are in MWT, we are going to use the basics from the previous classes. So therefore I have just simply listed out the Maxwell's equations so that we can solve the propagation of EM wave through the waveguide. Okay, so let us start looking into this. Now there are two popular equations, del cross E and del cross H. What this del cross E is suggesting us, del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. So this we have written by using the Faraday's law. So what Maxwell has did? Maxwell has simply did a research of putting together all the equations suggested by the previous scientists like Faraday, Ampere, Lenz, all these people's work. He has put it in a systematic manner, and he has made some conclusions based on these equations, and he concluded that electromagnetic wave is going to propagate from source to the destination with the velocity of light in the free space. That is the conclusion he has made. Now we are going towards that particular thing now. So first equation is del cross E. Del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. What this equation is telling to us? The rate of change of the magnetic field, is going to produce a opposing electric field. That means this operation is known as curl, del cross E. Del is a spatial domain operator, whereas T is a time domain operator. That means by varying the time domain magnetic field, we are going to get a spatial domain electric field. So but the field is going to be opposing in nature. So del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. It suggests that the rate of change of the magnetic field, what is B? B is known as the flux density, magnetic magnetic flux density is known as B. Okay, I am not deriving all these equations, already they were there, I am just using it and I am giving you the physical representation of this particular Maxwell's equation so that we can derive the equations further. So del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. It tells that the rate of change of magnetic field is going to produce electric field. That means electric field is going to get induced by varying the magnetic field. That is what called Faraday's law has explained to us. Okay. Then similarly one more equation is there which has been suggested by Ampere's circuital law. By Ampere's law, it is known as Ampere's law, whereas it is going to be called as a modified Ampere's law or also called as Ampere's circuital law. So based on the Ampere's circuital law, what we can write it here as, what is D? D is nothing but equal to, D is equal to epsilon E. D is equal to epsilon E, where D and E are the vectors. Here B is equal to mu H. So these are the relations which we should know compulsorily. So D is nothing but electric flux density, B is known as magnetic flux density, and E and H are simply known as the electric and magnetic field intensities. So the electric flux density is equal to sigma times E. So where sigma is nothing but the permittivity of the free space. So D is equal to epsilon E. So this is nothing but a constant parameter. Sigma is known as a epsilon is known as a constant parameter. This epsilon depends on the medium. Okay, so that is always a constant parameter. So we can write D is equal to epsilon E. Now what is this I can write as? Epsilon dou E by dou T. That means the rate of change of the electric field is going to produce a magnetic field. That means if the electric field flowing through a conductor is a time dependent, is changing with respect to time, then it is going to produce it is going to induce a magnetic field in that. So these two are the very, very popular equations under the differential form of the Maxwell's equations. So based on these two very, very important equations, we derive the wave equations. Now two more equations based on the Gauss law. What are the two equations? Del dot D is equal to rho V, del dot B is equal to 0. So what is the operation called del? This dot is known as divergence operation. So this is known as curl operation. So curl is going to speak about the rotational field, is going to give us rotational field information, whereas dot is going to give us the flow of the data information or existence of the flow of the line charge carriers. It's going to speak about. So del dot D is equal to rho V means what? There exists some volume charge. So a volume charge is normally going to get exhibited from the charged body. What about del dot B? Del dot B is always going to be equal to 0. Why? Because magnetic field is always going to flow from north pole to the south pole. Only north pole, only south pole is not going to produce any fields. Therefore del dot B is always going to be equal to 0. So these two have been taken from the Gauss, and Maxwell has prepared these four equations. And in the last class, what we have did is we have did del square E is equal to mu epsilon dou square E by dou T square. This is what we have simply did. So in these equations, what we can have now? What is E known as? E is known as electric field. What is H? H is known as the magnetic field. And now we are going to define these two equations in these two equations. Right. So now we'll just see now how we normally going to derive the wave equation based on the Maxwell's equations. Now first of all we start going to derive the electric field wave equation. We straight away go with deriving the electric field wave equation. Now what is the first equation I have? Del square E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. The rate of change of the magnetic field is going to induce the electric field. That is the first Maxwell's equations. So here when you look for getting the electric field equation, on the LHS side you should have an electric field component. That's what we have to see before we start our deriving equation. So del cross E is equal to what I can write this as minus dou by dou t. What is B? B is a magnetic flux density, which is equal to mu times magnetic field intensity. H is known as magnetic field intensity, B is known as magnetic flux density, and E is known as electric field intensity. So E and H are the actual electric field intensity, magnetic field intensity. What about B? It is going to be the magnetic flux density. What is D? Capital D? It is going to be electric flux density. Okay, now let us start solving this particular equation now. So del cross E is equal to minus mu. Now this mu is a constant parameter. It is purely a constant value based on the medium. This value is going to change. So therefore it has got nothing to do with the time domain. So therefore I will take it outside, mu dou by dou t of H. Now we will take curl on both sides. That means taking curl on both sides, just simply apply curl operator del cross. Simply apply del cross to LHS as well as to the RHS side. So if you apply curl on both sides, what we can have now? Del cross E is equal to minus mu dou by dou t of del cross of t. So that means I have simply applied a variable separable method. What is the variable separable method that I have? See here, this del is a spatial domain operator, whereas t is in time domain, and this H component is normally going to be there for the spatial domain. Therefore I have simply transferred this variable by using a variable separable method, and I just applied this del curl operation to the H field. That's how we normally use this particular mathematical property. So here we use mathematics as a tool. Wherever required, whichever is required, we will be using the mathematical properties here to solve our equation. Then next, from the field form of the Ampere's law for LHS, what we can have now? This I can take as some vector A, this is going to be vector B, and it's applied with a del cross operation. And now I can just simply apply, I can write this as A is del. So this A into the first component of B is del square. Then in the B vector side, E is the vector field that we have, E into del dot E. Then we find out the determinant of these two. When you find out determinant, we get a del of del dot E minus of del square E. This is the determinant of this matrix. So by expanding that, we can get now del cross of E is equal to del of del dot E minus del square E. So for conducting medium, del dot E would be equal to 0. So therefore we consider it as 0. Next, from equation 1, what we can have from equation 1? Del cross of E, this equation we have, and this del cross of E is represented by minus del square E is equal to, then what about this equation I have? Minus mu dou by dou t of, what is del cross H? Del cross H is the second Maxwell's equations I have. Del cross H is equal to J plus dou d by dou t. So I simply expand this with J plus dou d by dou t. Now what is basically J? J is nothing but equal to sigma E, which is going to be based on the Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is same as so we can expand J using the Ohm's law as J is equal to sigma E. Okay, now we can just use that equation over here, where I can write that from equation, previous equation I can write del square E is equal to mu dou by dou t of sigma E plus dou d by dou t. So what I am doing is I am simply making the substitutions based on the basic rules of Maxwell's equations. That's all, nothing else I am doing. So only thing is you have to just simply apply and solve for it. Automatically you will be getting the wave equation. Okay, now del square E is equal to mu sigma. Now what about this? Now this sigma is also going to be a component which is going to be a constant parameter. I will take it outside. So dou E by dou t plus mu. What is D? D is nothing but equal to epsilon E. Okay, so it is a vector component. So D is nothing but equal to epsilon E. When you substitute this epsilon here, so epsilon E is a constant which will take it outside. So then next, after you take it outside, we get a epsilon dou E by dou t. Next here I have dou by dou t of this. So that means when I multiply this, I get a double differentiation. So I can get now mu epsilon dou square E by dou T square. So that is the equation normally I am going to get, which is known as equation number 3. And now this equation is known as the wave equation in the conducting medium. So in the conducting medium, what is the difference between the wave equation? So these two equations are the wave equations in the free space. What is the extra term that we are going to get in the conducting medium? Whenever I say a conducting medium, then definitely I should keep in mind that I will be getting a sigma. There are three important components. What are the three important medium parameters? The medium parameters are going to be usually sigma, mu and epsilon. So these three parameters, based on the variation of these three parameters, right, we normally apply the conditions for various mediums. For different mediums, these values are going to be different. Say for example, for a conducting medium, sigma is equal to 0. So for a for a conducting medium, sigma is not is equal to 0. For a free space, sigma is equal to 0. So that means here, based on the medium under consideration, we normally going to take the values as 0 or a non-zero value. So here the sigma is a non-zero value. Why? Because we are working with a conducting medium. Therefore, for a conducting medium, sigma is going to come as the extra term. Sigma mu dou E by dou T. This you have to remember. If you could not remember, you have to practice many times in order to remember this equation. So you have to remember these two equations, equation 3, equation 4 you need to remember. Why? Because this equation 3 is known as the wave equation in the conducting medium. Similarly, we can get wave equation for the magnetic field. This is what I was talking to you, something like, you know, buy one get one free. If you get the equation for electric field, you will be getting the equation for the magnetic field without solving for it. That is what the beauty of the Maxwell's equations. So therefore, I can straight away, even though I solve it by substituting, making all the substitutions this way, that way, finally I will be getting the same equation. So that is the reason why I am just simply writing here. Similarly, we get the wave equation for the H field as what? Dou square H is equal to mu epsilon. See, this E is replaced with H. Electric field is replaced with a magnetic field. So that means by just simply replacing it, I will be getting the wave equation for the magnetic field. So magnetic field and electric field are going to be perpendicular to each other, and the amplitudes are also going to vary similar to the other field, right? That means when one is increasing, other one is also going to increase. When the electric field is decreasing, magnetic field is also going to decrease. So like that, the in proportional electric and magnetic fields are going to vary their values in proportion to other. So therefore, straight away, due to the Maxwell's equations properties, we will be getting the magnetic field equation from the electric field directly. Now let us see. Now for free space, we substitute sigma is equal to 0 in the equation number 3 and 4. In equation number 3, if you substitute sigma is equal to 0, this part is gone. So I left over with only mu epsilon dou square E by dou T square. Similarly, I can get it for del square H. Now these two are the wave equations for the free space. These are the free space wave equations. These are the wave equations in free space. These are wave equations in free space. So now next part is we have to find out for the time varying fields. So if we are going for time varying fields, then next we apply for the time varying nature of the fields. Okay. By just simply writing E is equal to E naught into e to the power j omega t, B is equal to B naught into e power j omega t, H is equal to H naught into e power j omega t. Because time varying means what? Complex component has to be added to this particular field. Without this, it is going to be non-time, it is DC. If you add this, it becomes AC signal. So we have to solve this equation for the time varying fields. Okay. So now we are just continuing our equation for the time varying signals or time varying fields. So now this is the equation we have. Del square E is equal to mu sigma dou E by dou T, mu epsilon dou square E by dou T square, where for time varying fields I can write E is equal to E naught into e power j omega t, and when I partial differentiate dou E by dou T is equal to dou by dou T of this entire E. I can write it here, substitute over here. Now if you differentiate this e power j omega t, what I can get now? J omega into e power j omega t. So E naught into e power j omega t is what? It is nothing but E. So therefore I can write this as j omega into E. And similarly, what I can do now, I can just go it for, I have one more equation, dou square E by dou t square. To solve this, I apply the dou square E by dou t square here, where I can write this as dou by dou t of dou E by dou t. So dou by dou t, dou E by dou t is already, we have got it, j omega into E. So same thing I can write it here. So what is E actually? E is nothing but equal to E naught into j omega t. I am just simply substituting here. And finally I will be getting what now? E naught into j omega, I will take it outside. And by differentiating, by applying the time differentiation to here now, right? So E naught into j omega is a constant. I will take it outside. Then apply differentiation to e power j omega t. I get j omega into e power j omega t. So therefore, E naught into e power j omega t is nothing but equal to E, and rest of the j omega into j omega t, j omega remains as it is. Now after we get this, so finally we can substitute here in the above equation, in the above equation 3. Now this equation I can substitute. So this equation is known as equation number 3. I substitute in the above equation 3. Once I substitute this, what I can have now, del square E is equal to mu sigma, dou E by dou t means j omega into E I can write, and next is mu epsilon dou square E by dou t square. What is this now? J omega into E I can write. So now here what is common in these two? J omega mu is common, so I can take it outside. So sigma plus j omega epsilon into E I can get. So this equation what I can have now? Same equation I have written it over here. Now the above equation is in the form of dou square E is equal to y square into E. The solution of this equation I can write it in that fashion. So now using the second order equation I can write like that. So dou square E is equal to, I can write the same equation as gamma square E. So as I am dealing with electromagnetic fields, I am going with some other terminology, okay, because we are writing this equation for wave propagation. Since we are writing it for wave propagation, I go with another terminology. So instead of y, I will take it gamma. So gamma square into E, where I can replace this gamma square is equal to this entire term, that is called j omega mu of sigma plus j omega epsilon. So gamma is equal to under root of this factor, which I can write as, in general, gamma is nothing but propagation constant. Propagation constant is written in terms of the attenuation constant and the phase constant. The signal is going to move in the forward direction. So if the signal is moving in the forward direction, the phase of the signal is normally going to be changing continuously. So that is what propagation constant we are going to have. And next is attenuation constant. While the signal is getting propagated in the forward direction, the signal is going to experience some attenuation. So that's what called attenuation factor. So therefore the propagation of a wave can be written as alpha plus j beta. So from this I will be getting it in equation now. For a free space we have to get the equation. For a free space, sigma equal to 0. So put sigma is equal to 0 in the equation 5. Then what I am going to get now? Just simply this sigma 0, this factor I will get here, j omega mu into j omega epsilon. Here j omega I can take it outside, and this will go in the root. So by doing so I will get beta is equal to omega under root of mu epsilon. What is actually velocity of light equation? It is equal to 1 is equal to v is equal to 1 by under root of mu epsilon. So therefore I can 1 by under root of mu epsilon I can write as 1 by v. I can write as 1 by v. What is v? V is equal to, based on the lambda is equal to v by f formula, I can get v value. So v equation as lambda into f. Ff will get cancelled. Finally I will be getting beta is equal to 2 pi by lambda. And one more equation, one more term we have, that is called skin depth is equal to 1 by alpha. So using these two equations, using this gamma equation, I can find out alpha and beta value based on these two equations. So these two equations are required for us to solve the some problems on the propagation of the electromagnetic waves in the waveguides and in the conducting planes. So in the next class we will go with propagation of a wave in the parallel plate, parallel conducting plates. And after we complete the parallel conducting plates equations, then we derive for the equations for a waveguide. So deriving equations for waveguide is going to be unit number 2. Unit number 1 is especially we have to derive the equations for EM wave propagating through a electromagnetic wave. So that is what we have to do. So thank you very much for the today's class.